Battling away here, guys. You can probably tell by my tone I'm a bit, what's the word? Drained, I guess. Just cannot win a hand. It's people calling with gutses like this. This has been the story of the day. Guy's been a fish. He's probably going to pay me off with any ace, maybe even any king. Turns a gutser, can't fold. Out of the Sunday Millions. Even when we got kings here. The guy's been quite tight UTG, so I decided to, what are we going to do here? I think I'm just going to shove this one. We don't have any low backup. It's king jack. 2, we got 3 pair. I'm just going to shove it. Yeah, the king's here. Shove it in ace queen for a massive stack. And it's just pain after pain. So I turned on the video for a little bit of run good. And we did just get a little bit, but I don't even know if that counts. I don't know if that counts as run good. That just counts as some guy just giving us chips, I think. That's what that counts as. I don't know why I've got that guy in yellow. He's been an absolute donkey. Wow. It's a nice hand here again. I don't know about this. Oh, 11, 19. Kind of feels like this guy's light here a bit. But I think I will fold it. What do we got? Ace Jack. Is there any point in betting here? Yeah, probably is. Well, I'm going to get caught by worse. We do have the low back up. Let's just check it, take a chance here. It's actually not a bad card because, well, I mean, unless he's got pocket sevens. But, kind of a close one here. I mean, he might be a fish, but we don't know. I mean, if he's got ace queen or ace king, it's not great. But we do have a lot of outs. If he's got ace 7 or ace 9, we're in pretty bad shape. But, I mean, there's not that many combos of that left. We do have the low as well. Just trying to work out how we want to play this. I wonder if he bets with just a low or hearts. Only really a king, queen, or 10, I guess, is a bad card. It's not that many bad cards. I think I will call. It's obviously not too bad a card. We've got the 2-4 for the low. Second nut low in the ace. I think I'm going to kind of semi-bluff this one. Yeah, I mean, it just snap folded, but I don't know if it's... I don't know if it's a good bet or not. What are we going to do here? Just min. Wow. Yeah, we'll call one here. This guy's been a pretty big... oh, this is not the guy that's been a fish, actually. Jokoto maybe has not been that bad. The question is, do we want to turn this hand into a bluff? And if we bet 3-3 and he calls, there'll be 13 left. I think we probably can here. We probably can turn this into a bluff. Just kind of using the blockers down here, but once we get raised, I think I'm just going to fold. Yeah, we'll check. It's pretty close. It's a pretty bad card. He could have c-bet with ace queen. He did c-bet into a whole bunch of players, and if he has got a hand like you know, jacks or kings or something, it's possible that he's just not folding anyway. But it is the 600, you know, XL, so generally players are a little bit more sort of susceptible to being bluffed. I think I'm just going to fold now. I do not think he does this with like an ace king or ace jack. I don't think. I think it's a blocker with like jacks or something, trying to get called by like 8s or 10s, or maybe he's hit the queen. The option on the river is we could have shoved. Certainly a pretty sexy option. Check back, turn, shove on the river. I think it works a high percentage, but it's also a bit of a high risk play. And yeah, I prefer to generally make that play if I know a little bit more about my opponent. But it's certainly a close one. We could have gone for it. But we do still have sort of M12. Yeah, I kind of feel that pot might have been winnable, actually. Maybe a river shove. Looks like we slow played the flush on the turn, I think. Just bring in a couple more times, yeah. Yeah. Let's bring in the BBC. Big 55. Top right, not a bad spot. Multi-way, sixes, pretty good to speculate with. Yeah. Sunday second chance is the top middle. This is actually pretty deep, this high-low one. A 13 of 36. So we're in the money. But it's only 3.3 up top, but keen for a score. It's just been frustrating. Every all in today I've lost, and every time I've had the chance to win a big stack, you know, quite a few times. But you know, that's what happens, and in all honesty, I mean, that's what happens, you know, a lot. I mean, you got to win a lot of hands in a row to win a tournament, and it's easy to lose one in one tournament, lose one in another at a quick key stage, and you know, lose one in another at a key stage and say, oh my god, I just lose every hand, and then sort of forget about a couple earlier where you had double ups early, you know, one flips earlier, maybe to double up when it wasn't as key. But it's certainly, you know, certainly had our share of key pots today go astray. I think this one bottom left really hurt because I felt a deep run coming. It's still relatively early, but it was a pretty huge pot. We would have had a very large stack with the kings against the ace queen, and let's just see this lobby here. Yeah, I mean, we're only sort of a third of the way, 2/3 of the way through, but we would have had a very healthy stack. We would have gone up to 50 or 60 at that time. See, I'm sporting the new screen, the new image on Stars, pokertrainingjp.com, website that I help run, targeted at the Japanese market, of course, and yeah, it's a good site, going well. And we've got a bit of a promotion on there at the moment, so I just chuck the logo on. I will go ahead and 3-bet top. Right. He might 4-bet a bit, this guy. I think he's a bit of a 4-better. Yeah. I think he's pretty active. I think he knows how we play because he's got 2k hands on us. It's in a pretty tough spot if he gets good leverage with a 4-bet. Looks like he's just calling with Jack Queen, King Jack, King Queen, Ace 10. Be pretty surprised if he check raised, to be honest. But you know, he could, I guess, call with a pair as well, some sort of pocket. Let's go on for the check raise. A little bit surprised. Funny, I don't really have that many notes on this guy, considering I have a lot of hands. I guess he could have 9s and just decide he's got the best hand and want to get it in pre at this level, but I think he would with 9s. 7s, 8s, 4s, sets as well. Just don't think he's going to do this with a hand like King Queen, Ace 10. I think it just kind of snap folds angrily on the flop. So I think I will give it up. But it's always possible it's a plan he's had when he's called. It's always possible he's called with that intention, thinking, well, ace up's going to, you know, pretty light. Yeah, I'm going to call with my 8-10 off and just check raise any flop. But it's pretty sick. It's a risky game you're playing there, sir. No, he's probably got some sort of pair, I would think. Or we could have a flush draw and just check raise and then set up for the turn. Nice big bet or jam, and pretty hard for us to continue there. Flooding pre-flop is okay. I just prefer to take the initiative and prevent squeezes behind, I think. This guy here, Ebarb Tero, is just a massive fish, and everyone's sort of been going out of their way to isolate to this guy. He's just limping 32% of hands. He hasn't actually raised a pot. It's 135 hands he's played. He's limping 1/3 of all hands, and he hasn't actually opened for a raise yet. So that's pretty rare to see. Jack 9 PN. 11? 12? I'm just guessing. We only need 7, but that's only 9. Okay. I thought it'd be a bit higher. I knew it'd be above 7, but it's a bit closer than I thought. I'm going to try a limp bottom right. Yeah, I mean, you take it or leave it. The thing is, if someone 3-bets us to 600, we can call for 400, getting pretty good speculatives. And it also just, I think, encourages players to limp behind in this sort of fishy field. But also, you know, if someone 3-bets and then it gets overcalled as well, we have the option to, you know, to call. Whereas if it gets like, if we raise and someone 3-bets us, we can never really call. This Jakurto guy isn't one of the fishy players, but I think I will isolate to him. I wish it had been the fish here that had have done this. But I will isolate to him all the same anyway. So now, unfortunately, with the addition of the second limp, this guy's actually made quite a large raise. And we're not really... Wow. Okay, so it goes... We isolate the limper. I think I'm just going to fold here. We're not really getting the right price. This guy's been really aggressive, but... I don't think he's really doing that with that much worse. And this guy still should have something. It's going to be pretty sick if he shows us 8s, or, you know, ace queen or some annoying hand like that. Okay, they've got the kings in the. You just never, you know, you're like, okay, we have to fold here, but you just never know with these guys. You know, you just never know when they're going to roll the old ace 4 there or pocket 6s or something crazy. But you know, you just gotta do what you think, and you know, sometimes they surprise you, but other times like that, you know, you're right and you made a good fold. So, but I mean, that was relatively easy. I mean, we got a limp early. We raised from pretty early to isolate. We get 3-bet behind and then a 4-bet shove. The thing that did make it a little bit hard was that the 4-bet shover is short and that the guy that 3-bet us is actually pretty loose. That makes it pretty hard. And we're not that deep ourselves, so, you know, I'm definitely looking at M10 to get ourselves in a position to win some chips. Yeah. due to win a high-low tournament, actually. I've been... I think all the high-lows we've seen... We've made a couple of final tables high-low, but... Yeah, just... in recent videos, but... Just feel I'm due for a high-low score. I'm playing pretty tight in the high-low, actually. I think it's okay. We got decent stack depth and lots of monkeys around. Just about a 3-bet there, but I will 3-bet this one. I mean, this Queen 4 doesn't have a lot of post-flop playability, and this guy's just raises like 60, just massive percentage. And it's not really like he can get too out of line because it's kind of involves him, getting it in. But he has flatted, which I kind of didn't think he would do too much, but certainly there's some gappers and stuff. I think he probably jams an ace, but it's pretty close. I think, well, I don't know, actually. It's pretty close. I think it's quite close what he would do with an ace. I feel like he's on another table, distracted. And he's kind of not sure. Well, I didn't really expect that, to be honest. Yeah, I'm just going to call one. Turn the 4. I dare say we're good now. He's going to be pretty annoyed when he shows us ace 5 and loses. But, I think he's going to jam a fair bit against us pre-flop, but I guess he had a little bit of an awkward stack size, which is why I made the 3-bet. He could 4-bet that to fold, he can call with it, he can do different things. He could add a flush draw there, he could add nothing. He probably thinks we get out of line. I think if he's got a hand like King 10 with the King of Diamonds, I mean... He might check raise, he might flat. Some diamonds, he's definitely going to check raise. If we miss turn, we're just folding. If we don't hit a queen or a 4, and it's lucky we didn't hit a queen, obviously. I mean, we got lucky, obviously, but yeah, I mean, once we 3-bet pre. Yeah, I mean, he's stealing 60%. I think it's pretty standard. I think he's just going to fold a lot. He does call. Most of his range calling is just high card combos that don't want to get it in, like King Jack, King Queen, Queen 10, 9-10 suited, any suited stuff. If we do check call and he's going to hand like 6-7 on diamonds and he misses. Yeah. I don't know, it's kind of hard actually if he bets again turn. I mean, I don't expect him to really raise ace 5 because it's so strong. You would think that he'd want us to barrel. If we're bluffing, but at the same time, he probably thinks that if he check calls on an ace 4-5 board, it's just going to look like he's got an ace and we're going to shut down. So he's probably thinking maybe the best way to try and get us to make a mistake is to check raise flop, since we don't really expect him to do that with a strong hand or an ace for that matter, or 2 pair. So yeah, I mean, he's mixed it up a bit, but I think against this loosey goosey guy, I think calling the flop is pretty close. I mean, he should shut down a lot after that if he's got nothing. It looks like we have an ace. We do have outs. We could have the best hand. The problem with that is if we do have the best hand, it's going to be a little bit hard to realize our equity because he's going to barrel a lot. If he's got 6-7 suited, or if he's got, let's just say Jack 9 of diamonds. A turn comes a, let's just say 8. Well, let's say a 9. Turn comes a 9, he fires again. It's getting pretty hard. Turn comes a Jack 10. Any card really. Pretty hard for us to continue if he does have that sort of hand. but I'm not sure he will barrel it. I mean, because it just looks like we're calling. I mean, if he has Jack and Nine of Diamonds and the turns, let's just say a Queen. I mean, he knows he has to bet to win, obviously, but at the same time, he might be like, I just don't think aces up is ever folding here. I mean, it just looks like he has an ace. So it's just like a bluff that, sort of semi-bluff that just never works. But at the same time, if he checks and we bet, we're probably going to make a bet that he can't call. And so it puts him in a really sort of weird spot on the turn if he does have that sort of hand. But I guess he might think, okay, aces up might have, tens, or might have 3-bet light and hit a small pair, or maybe even just not believe me and call sometime on the king queen, which is kind of like we did, really effectively, and then just decide, okay, I'm just going to shove my draw and hope to get a couple of folds. And so, I think it's sort of contradicting myself here, but I do think in the end he'd be like unsure which is the case, whether we just sort of could have a little bit of a wider range and perhaps he has fold equity, or if we're just snap calling with any ace after 3-betting pre. Yeah, so you can see I'm being pretty nitty in the high low. Pretty hitty, pretty nitty, pretty titty, pretty nitty, and yeah, just don't really have a problem with it, to be honest. I mean, these guys are giving a lot of action whenever I'm involved. You can see every hand there's action. So, I mean, mostly from this guy. This guy's just being a crazy maniac. He says he has my abbreviated note for bad stats in PLO, and that's it's not that surprising. So let's just go to. I just want to check this out over here. This guy's locked. Bring the 162 in. Yeah, he must have hated it when he saw Queen 4. He must be on tilt now. It's like, you 3-bet moves Queen 4, and then you call a flop check raise with bottom pair. You mofo, he's just not happy at all with us at the moment, I'd imagine. We do have $103 in our bounty here too, so I think along with getting paid, we also get half of that when we bust. Along with it being in the money, I mean. I mean, I guess that's part of the reason why this guy's just being a psycho, is just because, he just knocked out a couple more there. He had a decent hand, but, yeah, I mean, I think that's just part of his strategy. It's just like, while everyone here is, well, it's pretty close. I think I will shove this one, just because this guy's so short and the super knockout. We've got if a heads up, we've got a decent hand. 3, 4, 5 queen. We've got a suit and we've got a little bit of a low run up. I mean, obviously not that good, but well, it's a close one here. 14, 14, 28. I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait before I tango with that guy and try and get it in with him crushed like I did before earlier. That's how I got these chips, because he's just donking around. The King 3-5 hand is a little bit of a higher variance hand. I mean, King 5-7. I mean, if he's got aces, we're just, wow, we are in huge trouble. But we do have the kings with a little bit of low equity with the 5-7. That's usually what you want with kings. You don't really just want dry kings with a, Jack and a 9 or something. Even King, Jack 9 double suited is not going to perform very well in high-low. So check how often the low does come. I mean, I think it's like 65, 64. I would guess 65, 60 to 65. I don't think it's as high as 70. I mean, I used to know all this stuff very precisely, but I haven't really done much study on high-low for, well, Years. We'll fold the kings there again. Let's have a little peek here and see. Oh, 907. Yes, play that one, and I think what 907. I think we're going to squeeze here, and that one looks like it's going in. I'm not sure how that MailChimp just detached there. Trying to bring in, this is what I was trying to bring in. There she blows. That's a pretty good hand to see. We've got any ace, any ace, any queen, any king. Somehow he ends up with straight and we lose. So that's pretty annoying because we've got the donkey mark on him too. It's the worst player to lose to is a donkey. Right on the break. Don't even get the out on. This has not been a good day. We've got to win a couple of these. Try and win this Super XL. You can see it's almost 200k for first, so it's quite a good tournament. They did get the guaranteed 1 million just made it. I'd be happy about that. I think actually there might have been slightly less than I expected, but I think because of they've had a lot of disconnection issues. I haven't really had too much of a problem. Once or twice I did have a problem, but they emailed me and said we've given you a little bit of cash because you had your disconnections. So at least they're doing the right thing. Yeah, so let's see, about 60, just over 60. We got 60. Yeah, we do have a 60 here. Yeah, 60% is, you know, of the time there's going to be a low, and then as you have more low cards, it's going to go down, I guess. I don't know if that's saying it's going down because of the blockers, the fact that you hold a bunch of low cards, or just the fact that, you know, a low might be possible, but you just have you don't have it because it's like a, you know, it's like an ace 2-3 king board. I guess that's more the case. So there's a low possible 60% of the time, but you actually have a low. Looks like the max you're going to get a low is 53%. Yeah, 4-5. So max it's going to be. So I mean that's interesting to see, but you can see there's a low more than half the time, and that's the key thing why the low is so important. Because if you're playing a low hand, you can still make a high. I mean, you might play 3, 4, 7, 8, and you know flop a straight. So, but then you can also get the low, and so that's the thing is you know if you only play a high hand, you can never get the low, and if you're lucky and it holds up, you know you might get the high. But you know with the low hands, you've got the possibilities going both ways, and it's break time now. So I'll be right back, guys.